It is the football contest show here on VSiN. You stuck with us through the Circa Million talk, and this is why you came. We know you want to see what's going down with the Final Four, and Derek will let you take it away here with Circa Survivor.
Well, here we go. We're down to the Final Four. Let me start off with a question for Jeff Benson. We have not prepped on this, but word is on Twitter that there was a chop. I'm not familiar with the terms of a chop. Jeff, are you familiar with any terms of a chop at this point?
Yeah, not familiar on my end. Obviously this has been talked about, on VSiN. Winner Circle Proxy, which I believe has two of the contestants. Tom Carroll has the other two. It seems like they've agreed to a chop, which is a good thing because everybody gets to take probably, if I had to guess, 7 figures home, and then there's a certain amount that they get to play for moving forward. So. For us, obviously, there's $9,267,000 at stake, and for people to walk away with life-changing money, in a contest that we think is really, really fun and cool, is awesome. So we're really excited, obviously, for the last 2 weeks to play out. Why we don't know details. There's 4 picks that have been submitted, and there's still a lot left at stake. So I'll turn it back over to you, Derek. You can walk us through those 4 picks. And then I think there's obviously going to be a lot of game theory and strategy that we want to talk through after you've gone through those details.
Yeah. So just for everyone being aware, we are not aware of what the chop is. We've seen on Twitter, we've heard that there is something in place. I guess I would say what we gather is there's some type of safety chop, meaning that there must be an amount that the 4 participants have generally agreed upon, saying, okay, we're all going to take this, but then we're playing it out. What I do know for sure is they are playing it out for something. They are playing it out because, similar to what we've seen all year long, in the second week with 2 weeks left of the season, we have 4 Circa Survivors and 4 different teams selected. Unbelievable. So I'm going to start off with Circus Master. Everyone thought Circus Master was in the best position coming into this week. This was the only Circus Survivor that had the Cleveland Browns available on Thursday night, and Circus Master took the Cleveland Browns. So they are in the clubhouse going on to the last week of the season. Indiana Jet comes back, and they take, with C.J. Stroud back, they take the Houston Texans. We got the Jags come out, and they take the Indianapolis Colts. And L.A. Jones are back in town. He put it out there on Twitter. Really interesting game theory there, letting everybody know what he's taking. He put it out there, and he took the Denver Broncos. So with these 4 different teams selected this week.
Yeah, I think when you look at the L.A. Joneser thing with him announcing on Twitter what he's going to take, I think there's a lot of great game theory with that because he's what he's trying to do is have first mover advantage so that people maybe behind him avoid the team that he's on. If he announces what he's going to do, maybe that allows other people to deviate. And then, one other note, obviously at this point of the season, the average implied value per entry, when you don't factor in the chop and things like that, each entry at this point is worth roughly $2.316750 at this stage of the game.
And we don't know for sure. So we don't know if there might be a confidentiality thing. We don't have any idea, but we will have Jags in studio next segment. We will have L.A. Joneser in studio in segment 4 of the show. So maybe they reveal, maybe they don't. We'll see how that all goes down.
Yeah, and to say one other thing, Circus Master, obviously a great position because he had the biggest favorite in terms of teams that were available going into the season, into the week. What he probably hates to see is the fact that 3 different teams were selected. Obviously, when you look at the Denver Broncos, they were closer to a touchdown favorite. When they bench Russell Wilson for Jarrett Stidham, that line goes down and the Denver Broncos don't become as popular. I think for Circus Master, obviously, he would have hoped that all 3 of the contestants would have taken one team, which I believe would have made the hedging a lot easier in terms of either betting on or against those selections.
Now, what Circus Master could do is take these 3 teams round robin of 2-teamers and the 3-teamer and wheel that thing all the way up. I mean, effectively, you could take a round robin of 2s for $500,000 a pop and hope you lose it.
Yeah, I mean, rumor has it they're still playing for 7 figures with a crooked number in front. So we'll see if so that means there's still a bunch of opportunities to try and continue to create value off of these entries, because if you're playing for that much money, you can come up with some pretty big hedges, especially when you know you're sitting with 7 figures in your back pocket as well. So a great spot to be in there. I thought it was interesting. We saw Indiana Jacks, Jags, and LA Joneser all take different teams because all 3 of them had the teams available for the others. Yep. And the other thing I got to say is, last time I checked, you didn't submit your pick on Twitter. Right? He could have gone someone besides the Broncos after all of that, after coming out.
I will say that he has done this 2 weeks in a row, and he said the team he was going to take last week, which he did. He did do that. So
it's a long game, just a set.
Setting up for the last week of the season. Did it 1 week? Check mark. Did it 2 weeks? Check mark. And hey, we'll see if third time's a charm.
Do you have week 18 early lines up that you could talk through?
Yeah, we can take a look at some of these week 18 lines. Let's see.
Availability is obviously is the key issue here.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot at play obviously this week in terms of who wins. What does that do for teams sitting players, seeding, all of that kind of stuff. So that leaves week 18 in flux.
Well, some actually have all been pulled down, I guess, at this point.
This is probably, and you guys could talk on this. Yeah. This is one of the toughest weeks as a bookmaker to come up with lines a week ahead of time, because, like you said, we don't know if the number 1 seed in the AFC is going to be wrapped up with the Ravens-Dolphins playing. We don't know if the division is going to be wrapped up for the AFC East. And so there's a lot of different scenarios here that could create massive moves in the market.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, week 18. Chris Bennett, who's our sportsbook director, he says you've never booked football unless you've booked a week 18 at Circa Sports. So obviously it's massively difficult. To be honest, it has a lot of parallels to the bowl season that we're in terms of opt-outs and motivational things and coaching and yada, yada, yada. But week 18 is very difficult, but if you get through this week, you at least have a chance. Obviously when we look at last season, there were 3 people. Obviously, they chopped, and one of the contestants lost in Week 18. When the Texans came back to beat the Colts. So,
well, we know that most people have the Colts, Texans, and Broncos available. Next week, the Colts and Texans play each other, so you could actually have two people on opposite sides of the game in the final week here of Survivor.
Derek, all year long, we would come in here and whether you said it on air or as soon as we wrapped, you would always say, I hope people make it through. You wanted the most positive experience for all of these people, and obviously you come out and you offer the credit lines to everyone, and now you hear of a chop and all that. And I know we want to see it kind of deep down. We want to see one winner, but man, when it gets down to 4, it feels good to just know people are walking away not empty-handed.
Well, yeah, I mean that's one thing I've always wanted. I mean, I want everyone that plays Circa Survivor to realize there's many ways to monetize. I mean, I've been saying this now since right about Thanksgiving time frame that I hope everyone that made it through Thanksgiving, through that tough week, has a way to monetize it one way or the other. Whether it's through a hedge, whether it's selling 10%. I mean, Circa Survivor, it's great. It's great if one person wins $9.267 million. You got a lot of media, a lot of discussion about it. But I mean, if there's 100 people that were able to monetize their position, and maybe they got to 14-0 and all that, that's awesome. I mean, that's where one of the elements where I love Survivor that much is you don't have to win it all to be able to cash.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, you could have just played the first 8 weeks, the first 2 months of the season, and just money line parlay, roll over. You win enough that you've covered your entry for the times 5 or whatever, and then you play out the rest of the season. So as Derek mentioned, there's a ton of ways to monetize, and obviously him extending credit at 0% interest, I may add, is a really nice boon for a lot of these players as well.
That's a good number. I might need a house, Derek.
Well, I'll tell you what. Thanks for doing the job you guys have done, following this all season long. I will tell you, I am anxiously awaiting. Congratulations on getting these 2 interviews a little bit later. Obviously, I'm going to be sitting in my spot rooting for my Lions to come back here in the second half. But I can't wait to hear what your guys say when they come in to talk to you. So congrats on getting these interviews.